Leaders of G5 countries in the Sahel will be meeting today, with the French president joining via video link. Now, the aim of the two-day gathering could decide France's future role in the conflict against jihadists in the region. Operations Barkhane's costs and usefulness has prompted soul-searching at home in France. Just last month, Emmanuel Macron suggested France could adjust its military commitment. For more on the story, we can bring in France 24 specialist on jihadi movements, Wassim Nasr. Wassim, what has been done since the meeting last year, which we saw in Po between France and the leaders of G5 countries?
Well, actually, there were main objectives that were set at Po in January 2020, and one of them was fighting the Islamic State in the three-border region between Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And we have to say that this objective was mostly achieved since the Islamic State was contained. It's still present, especially in Niger and northern Burkina Faso, but contained meaning they are unable now to pursue attacks as they did in 2018, big attacks, complex attacks against the Malian army or the army of Niger in Tessalit or other places. That's one of the objectives that were achieved. Another one was hitting HVT targets, high-value targets, in the ranks of Al-Qaeda. We know that Drukdel was killed, the head of Akim, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, and one of the most prominent Tuareg jihadi leaders was also killed in November 2020 by Ag Musa. So on the tactical level, some objectives were achieved, and what helped to achieve those objectives is the inner fighting between the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda that erupted in 2020. And we have a map, and we shall see on the map the amount of fighting in that map. But anyways, we see on this map actually the deterioration of the security situation in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger since 2018 up to today. And all the oil dots that we see are jihadi operations. The French flags are French bases, troops, and black dots are the operations of French forces. And we see that from 2018 up to 2021, the situation is getting worse and worse on the ground. Even though the Islamic State was contained and Al-Qaeda was really hit hard, they are still in capacity, especially Al-Qaeda, to conduct some operations against the French forces. Remember that France lost 5 soldiers in 1 week between December and January, despite the fact that another big operation was set just after the Operation Eclipse between France, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger to fight Al-Qaeda. Despite that, Al-Qaeda is still attacking the MINUSMA and local forces on daily basis.
Wassim, operationally speaking, what has France really been able to achieve over its commitment over these past 8 years?
Well, actually, we can see that what France was able to achieve is to contain jihadi forces. There are tactical achievements. There were no political achievements, if we may say things this way. And that's what this meeting is looking for: more political commitment from African countries in order for France to disengage. What they're going to achieve now, they're going to say, they're going to retract 600 soldiers that they sent in January 2020, and they want more European countries in, which is happening. We have the Takuba Force, Special Forces. We know that we have Estonia, the Czech Republic, and Sweden into this Takuba Force, Special Forces, actually working today in the Sahel region. We know also that in the ranks of the MINUSMA, the United Nations force, we have the British and we have the Germans as the last who arrived, knowing that we had before them the Belgians, the Spanish, and the British, despite the Brexit, are still very present with their choppers helping Barkhane. And one other aspect that we don't talk about much is the American engagement next to France.
Because I want to talk to you about the American engagement, because today we have the U.S. Secretary of State, the new U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, who's set to be addressing this gathering, virtually speaking. What is the U.S. true presence across Africa like?
Actually, the Americans are really present in Africa with their military, and we can see a map which is based on AFRICOM data, which is the African Command of the U.S. Army, and we see permanent bases and less permanent bases. So less permanent bases are bases where they have like a training, and they use from time to time for special forces, like in Somalia or in Tunisia, for example. And fixed bases, which are really present in the Sahel region in order to help Barkhane in terms of intelligence, in terms of drone activity, because France doesn't have much drones operating in the Sahel region, but also something that's very important, the logistics. Because without American logistics, Barkhane wouldn't be able to operate and to rotate in this huge region as it does today. So even if the Americans don't make much advertising about their presence, they are really present. They are present on the ground also with special forces. And one thing that hinted to this engagement is that the Secretary Blinken, in his first reaction to his phone call with Jean-Yves Le Drian, the French Minister of Foreign Affairs, he talked about the Sahel.
Okay.
So this is very notable because usually they talk about the Middle East or the Pacific region, and he first chose to talk about the Sahel. And as you said, he will be addressing this assembly today.
We'll see what he has to say. Wassim, thank you very much for that.
Thank
Wassim Nasr there.